Welcome to the Gary Budget Watch Review channel. Today I'm going to do a little bit of a journey of my San Martin watches leading up to the one you saw on the thumbnail. It's not going to be very long because I have not had a lot of San Martin watches. But let's start off with this. The first one that I ever purchased, Rolex Homage. It's well built. It was a little rough on the edges. So my first impressions is when I was buying my other watches that maybe I paid a little bit too much for this because of how rough the edges were. And they were rough, and they still are. If you feel along the edges, it's just not as smooth. Now, I bought this a couple of years ago, and maybe this is why I wasn't a big fanboy like some of the other YouTubers that just love San Martin. But this is the first one I got. It's a good watch. I mean, I still rate it high in my collection, but it just, I don't know, it just was so-so. And then I went all out. I splurged on this San Martin. And again, I'll put the model number and stuff in the description below. You probably could find my older reviews on this one. I really did like the colors and everything, but on my wrist, this was way too tiny. It just looks really small. Now, it's a really nice looking watch. And it supposedly is a original design by San Martin, so I think they went out of their way to go ahead and come up with something different. I did like this colorway. They have a bunch of others. But it was like, it's a nice watch, but it just barely fit on my wrist. So the adjustment clasp of the slide lock had to be all the way out for me. This was just tight, small. It just didn't work. Even though it's a 39, because of that dial and how small it is, it just kind of blended in, didn't look right on my wrist. So I really, after this one, held up. I was like, I don't want ones that don't really fit my wrist or can't be adjusted. And then in my reviews of which ones you should look at to buy, I kept putting in this San Martin. And I finally got it. This is the SN0144. It comes in 3 different sizes, I believe 36, 39, and 42. This is the 42. 42 looks wonderful on my wrist. It fits my wrist. I would also tell you that some people have asked me, okay, how big is my wrist? Well, my wrist is about 8 inches. And of course, it does go up and down. And this is the first watch that I've enjoyed the clasp, the slide lock clasp, because it didn't fit to the max. And so I get to adjust it when the tight is, when I get up in the morning, it's loose. When I I might do some activities or something, my wrist gets a little bigger, I can slide it. And I have just come to like this watch. Now, I've just recently measured it. For thickness, it's like 10.2, which is wonderful on the wrist. It actually is in the same range as some of my Tag Heuers that I have. It also, everybody talks about the dial. The dial is very, very interesting. The big thing on this watch is the movement, the 9015. That's why it gets to be so slim. And you can see the SN0144. Stainless steel, sapphire crystal, just really outdid itself. Now, one thing I will tell you, this is the first watch that, it doesn't go up. It kind of, when you look at it, this form fitting fits great to my wrist, but I recognize it just seemed like I haven't had one that's so locked in that this wrist, on my wrist. I also want to say before I put it on my wrist, it's called the JianZhan, which, I've read that it's the Gada watch, and some people have talked about the history of its porcelain, Japanese porcelain that this watch is. I keep thinking it's ceramic, but it's porcelain, kind of going with the heritage. So there's multiple colors. I got the blue. I really do think it stands out. Let's take a look on the wrist. I would say that if you don't have a big wrist, the 39 might be better. Even on my large wrist, I am coming right to the end. And I do like the slide lock. There's no doubt doing this slide lock, adding just that little bit like it is right now, makes a world of difference on my wrist. See how it's very easy to slide lock, loosen it up, tighten it up. This is going to change my collection in the sense that I am now convinced that movement matters. The 9015, I've only had it a few days, but I've worn it every day. This watch is really a keeper when it comes to quality. And I can tell you this watch ranges in the $300 range on Aliexpress, but you can get it for under $300 if you use the coupons and discount codes. I paid less than $300 US for it, and I do not regret it. So my journey with San Martin's has really kind of gone from the early stages, kind of their first InDesign, to porcelain. And man, how that looks and how that gradiates out, the date window, just a fantastic watch. Now, I'm a big date window fan, and this really is, for me, kind of knocks it out of the park, because the date window is kind of hidden with the color matching that they've done. It makes it a little harder to read, but that's how it blends in. The lume is a little bit better than I thought. I'm not going to show you, but you ever come in from like bright outdoors and go into a dark area, those indices really do light up quite a bit. It's not intended, I'm sure, as a super lume watch, but it's excellent for this kind of, I'm going to call it an everyday or dress watch. Comes with 100 meters of water resistance. I just noticed that because they have 3 different sizes, this is like a 21. So your 20 bands are not going to work unless maybe you get the 39 millimeter diameter. So be careful of that. Watch bands change. As I was looking at the specifications, they're saying they have a 2-year warranty on this as well. But for an automatic under $300, yeah, I'm going to tell you, This one knocks it out of the park. Just knocks it out of the park. I am going to do a comparison with my much more expensive watches. I might put it up against my Tag Heuers just to see how this is, but how thin it is, the class, it beats a lot of my older watches that I spent a lot more money on. So with that, I would hope you enjoyed this video. Just trying to give you my honest opinion about these. I really am in this for my hobby, and this was a solid catch. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you'd like to see more of these.